Okay, we're here in very important place. You can see around me, and if you're looking here, we can see a room that cutting in the rock, and different room that built here with different reason. And then we understand what we are talking about. But it's very important place, and we will talk about the room, each room separately, and then we do some conclusion. But if first we can see this room where I'm standing here. What we have here, small hole in the floor, hole in the wall, deepest area here, and this is what we called olive press. But the people that make olive oil here, they didn't make, it's not a public olive oil, a public olive press. This is just a private olive press that they're using the olive oil from here for themselves here in this place. And what we have here, this is what we found here. You take the olive, you smudge the olive. After you smudging the olive, you put the smudging olive in the sack, and the sack you're putting on the top of the small hole here, and you put one on the other, and then you took a branch of wood, you put the branch of wood in the wall, and then here where I'm standing, there's a wet made by stone that you are rubbed on the wooden the branch of wood, and then it will start to press. When the press, what we have inside a black water, and we have also the olive oil always jumping to the top, and then you collect it. So you have a private olive press here for the olive oil that they need in this place. Why they need that olive oil here, we will talk about that. We have another room in that place. So this is like a storage room for a jar, for other things that they are putting here. This room, the floor of that room and part of the wall was plastered with the plaster. You can see the plaster on the side, on the floor, and we call that plaster hydraulic plaster. That plaster was holding water, or holding wherever you have in that room. Maybe you have a jar with olive oil that was broken, and then you need to collect the olive oil. So this is what we have here. Or other thing that was happening here in the let's say eastern side of the wall of this room, we found small hole that you can collect what falling, what destroying, what going from the jar, and this is from this room. So we have a room that you make olive oil, olive press room. We have a storage room with a plaster, and let's go to see the other room. From this room we are going inside to the olive press room, and we're going inside to the storage room. From this room we have a connection to the east by stairs. We have a connection to the east by stairs. This is what we have here, to the east, this way. What was here, for my opinion, was a square or courtyard, open courtyard, that was going from the room to the east, and from there was a connection to the area of the spring, to the area of the water. So what we have in this room, what we can see, a channel, we can see a platform that cutting in the rock, and this was on top of that platform was built a altar. So the sacrificed animal on that altar, and the juice and the blood and everything was going through this channel, and then you collect it here where I'm standing, because that steps was higher steps. It's not a small step. So this is a place where the sacrificed animal, and this room was an open room without roof, because the sacrifice. Let's go. Okay, we're now in that room, and what we have in that room. If you're looking inside I am now in the east, and if I'm looking to the west, and when I'm looking to the west, I'm seeing a pillar a pillar. They took a flat stone and they put it as a pillar. Just a moment. They put it as a pillar, and what that pillar mean? This is the question. This is a pillar that was built here on the floor, and around the pillar they put a small stone to protect the pillar that will stand in its place. And what is the meaning of the pillar? This is the question. So the olive press connected to the pillar, as the pillar is the house of God, and this is the connection between the pillar, between the olive press, between all together with the altar. So we're talking about place where the people was worshiping to God. And the question, who was here? From who? From when we started to understand that this is when they built that place. How we can go back by the history to understand what we have here. And for my opinion, what we found here, we found there someplace, we found a level with the pottery from the Middle Bronze period. And what I'm saying we're talking about, maybe, we don't know 100%, but we're talking about maybe it's a temple, or maybe it's a worshipping area that was belonged to Melchizedek. And Melchizedek was a king of Shalem, but also he was high priest. So I'm asking, how Melchizedek is the high priest worshipping God? Which way? And I'm saying, may he worshipping God as the Bible tells us on the story of Jacob. So what he's doing? We have the pillar, we have the olive press, we have the altar. So maybe this is the first place where in Jerusalem that the people worshiping God, Melchizedek temple, or temple 0, because it's built before the first temple period, the first temple that built by King Solomon. So we have something very, very important to understand how everything was connected. We know also that King Solomon was anointed above the Gihon spring. Maybe it was here in this area. We know King David bring the Ark of the Covenant to the city of David. Maybe it was here around this area, because this is go back to the time of Melchizedek as the high priest and king of Jerusalem. Of course, he blessed everyone with bread and wine. We know it. from the Bible. So the finding here, it's fantastic finding that take us made to the time of Melchizedek, 800 years before the time of King David, and this is the place where the people worshiping God all over the year. This area ends, for my opinion, by finding in the 8th century BC. May by King Hezekiah reform that say no more worshiping in my country. If you want worshiping God, there's temple on Mount Moriah, temple that King Solomon built. Let's go there and worshiping God there, not in the other places. So he didn't destroy this place, because he didn't destroy the pillar, because the pillar, the house of God that we found here, this is the same house of God. We found it as it is. No one destroyed. So if no one destroyed, so this is the most important thing in this place. So if no one destroyed, so they didn't destroy, they just covered, they ended, not destroying this place. In Arad, also they closed, they end the temple that they found there. So we have a lot of examples that King Hezekiah said, no more. Also the Bible talking about that. So no more. So no more even this worshipping area to God. Let's go to Mount Moriah, to the temple on Mount Moriah. Here we can see also in this room, we can see small holes here made for tying animal, goats, baby sheep here. And this is very, very, very important. Why? Because this is what you need for the sacrifice. You can see they didn't make the holes here. They make the holes very, very close to the floor. Here we have the V's. 1, 2, 3. Maybe that V's was using for the build construction tripod to hang the animal, to skin the animal. And this is for skinning the animal. So this is part of what you're doing in a worshipping area, in the temple area, where you're skinning the animal and the skin going to the priest. So this is what we have here in this area. It's very, very, very interesting. Here we have another hole made for granite. It's conic to make a flour, for making a bread, to put a wheat here or barley and start to make a flour for bread or for other, because we know, just for example, from the Bible that we have in the temple, the show table bread. So you must have to making a bread. Oh, we know from the time of Abraham, Melchizedek blessed Abraham with bread and wine. So where they're making the bread, in the holy place, or they're making the bread in the kitchen? So this is very, very, very important area to understand and making the connection between.